In February 2023, the quiet town of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, was shocked by the horrific murder of 55-year-old Alexander Stengel, a beloved manager at a local Pizza Hut. His body was discovered stuffed into trash bags and tossed into a dumpster behind the pizzeria. The man responsible was none other than one of his employees, 25-year-old Kavonn Ingram. The story began with a seemingly typical workday at the Pizza Hut where Stengel had worked for over 30 years, a modest job he held for meager wages to support himself. Days before the incident, Stengel had proudly shown off a large roll of cash to Ingram and other coworkers, a sum of $7,000 from a recent inheritance. Investigators later believed that this display of wealth may have been the trigger for the tragic events that unfolded. On February 5th, just 2 days after showing the cash, Stengel was dead. Ingram shot and killed him in the restaurant's kitchen, claiming later in court that the murder occurred in self-defense during a physical altercation. According to Ingram, he had no choice but to act in survival mode. However, the evidence painted a much darker picture. Surveillance footage captured Ingram dragging a garbage can to the dumpster outside, where Stengel's body was found 2 days later by a trash collector. The gruesome discovery led police to investigate the scene, where they found traces of blood leading from the dumpster to the restaurant's kitchen. Inside, authorities found an unusually clean section of the tiled kitchen floor, which appeared to have been recently scrubbed down. As they searched further, they uncovered coagulated blood and tissue at the bottom of a slop sink, as well as a bloody mop and blood smears on the light switch in the closet. Please subscribe to our channel and make comments about what you think of our videos. Ingram had made a futile attempt to clean up the scene, but the forensic evidence was damning. Ingram then tried to cover up Stengel's absence by sending a text from the victim's phone to the regional manager, claiming that Stengel wasn't feeling well. This ruse bought Ingram a few days, but the discovery of the body on February 7th ended any hopes of escape. Police arrested him on February 11th, after connecting him to the crime through both the surveillance footage and the damning forensic evidence. As the investigation unfolded, authorities learned more about Ingram's potential motive. It was believed that he had killed Stengel over the $7,000 in cash the manager had shown off days earlier. After the murder, Ingram clocked out of work for both himself and Stengel in an effort to create a cover story. Ingram pleaded guilty to first-degree reckless homicide. During his sentencing, Stengel's family expressed their profound grief, describing how they were haunted by the thought of what Alexander must have endured in his final moments. His sister, Pamela, tearfully spoke in court, saying, "I imagine his suffering and his agony. His voice haunts me. I wonder what he was thinking in those last moments." Despite Ingram's attempt to frame the killing as an act of self-defense, Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Michelle Havas was unconvinced. During the sentencing, she dismissed Ingram's claims of survival mode, stating, "I don't believe for 1 second that this was anything but a cold-blooded execution of someone who worked for 33 years for crappy wages at a Pizza Hut, because it's what he could do." Ingram's cold and calculated behavior after the murder, including the cleanup and deceptive text messages, only solidified the judge's assessment. While Ingram was sentenced for his crime, the Stengel family remains scarred by the tragedy. Alexander Stengel, a man who spent decades working hard in a humble job, met a horrific and undeserved end. His death serves as a painful reminder of how greed and violence can shatter lives, leaving behind heartbreak and questions that may never be fully answered. As the family continues to grieve, a restitution hearing for Ingram is scheduled for next month, though no amount of money or legal proceedings will ever fill the void left by the loss of their beloved brother and uncle. Please subscribe to our channel and make comments about what you think of our videos.